CBS 46 News crews continuing to track Hurricane Dorian. Look at this new video on the widespread destruction in the northern Bahamas. You can see damage and destruction from the storm stretched for miles. Entire neighborhoods flattened, homes shredded, shipping containers and boats hurled inland. Some airports now look more like lakes. At least 7 people have died in the Bahamas. Authorities expect that number to rise. And Tybee is Georgia's outermost island just east of Savannah. The outer bands of Hurricane Dorian being felt right now along Tybee Island, as our meteorologist just told us. Our Adam Harding is nearby. He's at St. Simon's Island. And Adam, have people been heeding the warnings to evacuate?
Well, if you can believe it, we have seen a number of people out here right by the waters. In fact, take a look at what the wind is doing. That's really the big story, as Molly and Rodney were just telling you about. The wind is creating some rough waves right here along the coast on St. Simon's Island, which is not far from Brunswick, which, as Molly just told us, we've seen some wind speeds upwards of 40 miles per hour. The wind comes and goes, and it brings with it some pockets of some cresting waves. Now, the storm is still way off in the distance. We're expecting conditions to deteriorate pretty quickly and rapidly later on today. Right now it is overcast, it is windy, and it is rough on the water, but at least at right now, and this is high tide. This is the first high tide of the day. In fact, you can see as it crashes down on the waves on the rocks right here. This is the first of 2 high tides that everyone will be watching today to see what kind of impact Dorian has when it comes to flooding. Keep in mind, the governor is expanding these states of emergencies and still warning coastal communities to evacuate ahead of Hurricane Dorian. The winds that we're starting to see right now, the first signs that Dorian is on our doorstep. This community is bracing for this Category 2 hurricane. The question remains right now is what kind of impact will it ultimately leave on these coastal communities? Just surveying the homes that are nearby on the water, some of them are boarded up, some of them are not. As we've been telling you, as the storm continued to grow in size and remained a Category 2, more people felt confident in knowing Dorian's track, and it would appear that more people who live on the water are choosing to ride out the storm than had previously thought earlier in the week when there was a little bit more uncertainty behind Dorian. The governor, meantime, maintaining that these are dangerous conditions, and if you live or work near the water, near the coast, you should evacuate ahead of Dorian. You still have time, as conditions right now are worsening, but they are not too severe. Back to you.
Adam, you've been all up and down the Georgia coast. What are you noticing most? It looks picturesque behind you, but very dangerous.
Well, I've got to tell you that the wind over the last 24 hours has started to pick up. It hasn't been severe. We have seen pockets of heavy rain, but those are far and few between. Mostly the skies that we're seeing right over here, this is still an anomaly for the most part because we've seen relatively blue skies ahead of Dorian. I think the concern right now is the flooding with the next high tide. As Molly talked about, those overnight hours are going to be crucial. We believe the area that we're standing in right now at least partially will be underwater, in part thanks to the ocean behind us, also in part because of what Dorian will bring just in terms of the wind and the rain. It's going to be a messy combination in about 12 hours from now, and that's why so many should be evacuated.
All right, our Adam Harding, thank you so much at St. Simon's Island.